What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for episodes 1 and 2 of WandaVision on Disney+. Now, if you have not seen these episodes yet, come on back, because it's going to be spoilers. I am so happy to be back doing reviews on these shows. They are back. I now have stuff to talk about on Man Titan as well. Man, I've been waiting for a while for the arrival of WandaVision. I love the trailers. I love the concept of the show. I love the ideas, and I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't fortunate like many of my peers to get the screeners, because, you know, they don't love me like that, like I thought they did. And that hurt. And I feel like me and Disney, we need to talk about our relationship and where we're going moving forward, and how we can rectify these situations. But, you know, I don't want to bring Jerry Springer into this anything, but nonetheless, I am happy I did get a chance to check it out, though. We'll see what happens in the future. Nonetheless, I said that twice for some reason. I'll say this overall. I enjoy the hell out of it, and I love where it's going. Now, I know a lot of people have been saying, and if you follow a lot of people on social media who cover these things and who talk about them, yes, it starts off slow. It starts off slow in the regard that it's not an action-packed show that we're used to, or action-packed in the level of the MCU that we're used to right away. It starts off with an ode, in a sense, to the 50s, 60s sitcoms. It has a My Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched type feel to it. But in the midst of all that, you still get Wanda and Vision using their powers. You have these little, you have almost different Easter eggs as to things that are going on to let you know things aren't real. Catherine Hahn as Agnes, or who's actually going to be Agatha Harkness, you can tell who she is because of the different things that are dropped in the 2 episodes. Her coming over and being a neighbor, and then at one point saying, hey, to the star of the show. It's different things she does. Also, you see commercial. It's one point, actually, in the 2nd episode, there's little things you got to pay attention to, right? In the 2nd episode, in the beginning, when they do the title credit sequence, you see a cartoon type version of Wanda and Vision, everybody they will encounter throughout the episode. And there's one part where they're in a supermarket and they see Agnes, and in one of the signs it says Bova. So this is more of a, clues to exactly who Catherine Hahn is that will be revealed later on. Again, everybody's been talking about this since, the trailer dropped of the show. You see a lot of Wanda and Vision trying to fit in, but in the process of trying to fit in, there are things that just don't seem right to the both of them. But Wanda is trying harder to have a normal life as opposed to Vision. In episode 1, we see Vision has a regular job. He goes to work. He works for a computing firm. He just does input and output, and he's working on the ad machine super fast because, again, Vision is a living computer. And Norm, his coworker, is like, yo, you're amazing. Like, are you even human? And then Vision's like, yes, I'm human. I have flesh and bone, all this other stuff. At one point, his boss asks, do you have any skeletons in your closet? Vision says, I don't have a skeleton at all. And the thing is, there are different things to Vision that doesn't seem real. Even though he is a supercomputer, he's asking like, yo, what do we even do here at this company? And his boss, when he invites his boss over and his wife for dinner, they're like, we just input and output. And he's like, but what are we inputting and outputting? So again, it's these things that you have these little hints and tidbits. You have Wanda at one point during the dinner service. We even see in the trailer where Mr. Hart and Mrs. Hart, played by Kitty from that 70s show, they ask, where were you from originally? What made you move here? What do you do? When were you married? All these things. And both Wanda and Vision are stuck because they're like, we don't have any of these things. They don't apply to us. We don't even know where we came from. And so you go forward, and these different things keep happening as far as their interaction with their neighbors. At one point in episode 2, there's in the beginning, there's things hitting the window, and you have the funny trope. I'm sorry, I feel like I got something in the corner of my eye. You got this funny thing where it's something hitting the window, or a loud thud, if you will, and it spooks Wanda. Then it spooks Vision. And Vision finally gets up, decides to go check, and sees it's just the tree branch hitting the window and all these other little tropes. But then later on, Wanda goes outside, and again, at this point, she's in black and white, and she sees in color toy helicopter. It's in full color. So now Wanda is slowly starting to figure out something's not right. But at that moment, Agnes comes back up, Catherine Hahn's character. You have Vision trying to fit in with people. He goes to the neighborhood watch meeting with all the guys there, and they, talk about eating food. And he's like, I don't eat food. And he has to remember, he has to say in between meals, because he has now allowed himself, as we see in the trailers, and if you see from previews or even, you know, commercials or whatever, you see he's able to show his human form as Paul Bettany. And he says he doesn't eat food, but then they give him a piece of Big Red, and he eats some gum, and he gets in his gears. And this becomes one of the funniest episodes, which is episode 2, where him and Wanda have to do a talent show, and him having gum in his gears is like him being drunk. And I knew they were going to go sitcomish. We all knew they were actually bringing in a live audience to tape the sitcom type things. But I don't think we knew how funny the two of them, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, were going to be. Like, yo, they are made for sitcoms. Granted, yes, we want to see Vision do Vision stuff. We want to see Wanda do Wanda Maximoff things, eventually do Scarlet Witch things. Yes, she's still not the Scarlet Witch as of yet. She will be later on in the episode, in the show. The introduction of Tiana Paris as Geraldine at first. And one of the most interesting things was she's introduced, she says, I have no idea why I'm here either. Again, it's a small line to let you know that the world isn't real. This world isn't real to her as well. So there are different things that you see. There's smaller things you got to pay attention to see that, yeah, this is, again, it's a cerebral thing, if you will. It's not as cerebral as Legion was. But you have to pay attention. And throughout different points, you hear somebody through the radio saying, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda can hear it. And again, she doesn't understand where it's coming from. But in episode 2, Dottie, who's the head of the board committee, talks to her in a way where it really makes Wanda question things that are going on. But at the same time, it pulls her away from it. I don't know how much you need, because there's really nothing to spoil in these episodes, really, to be honest. Like I said, it does build off kind of slow. One thing that's interesting is they do the talent show, like I was bringing up earlier, Vision and Wanda, and Vision is drunk off gum. Yeah. They do those, and everybody is constantly going, for the children, for the children, for the children. Again, in the comics, you go back, Agatha Harkness. There are little things like this that keep getting dropped that will play off later. Again, we know this is fully going to introduce the sword element to us. For those who don't know what sword is, it's the other half of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's the space division per se. And we saw a sword being built out at the end of Captain Marvel. That was the space station in which Nick Fury was on. We know that Tiana Paris is actually Monica Rambeau. We know that Randall Park's character is back in there. From Ant-Man and the Wasp. So there's a bunch of different things, but again, the overall will be the fact of Wanda and Vision not realizing this reality. More so Wanda because of Vision being dead. And here's another thing about that. If you watched episode 2, again, this is 1 and 2 and some spoilers. Pay attention to the end when they finally turn into color. Pay attention to that. And what you will notice is that even though Wanda gets her full color and everything's, 50s color and whatnot, she gets her full look, Vision turns into color. He has the fuchsia look of his skin, but he doesn't have the green tealish color. It's gray. Remember, he's technically dead from Thanos ripping the stone out. This is Wanda going crazy and bringing him back. We're not going to fully figure that out yet, because remember, this is after the events of Endgame. So we'll figure out at some point, maybe episode 4 or 5 of flashback, because it's like 9 episodes in this. We'll find out that what happened to Wanda whenever she decided to have this, whenever she not decided, or whenever she had this psychotic breakdown, if you will, and how it plays out. So that is going to be very, very intriguing with this. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Again, it's only 2 episodes in. But you can see there are a lot of little jewels dropped to let you know some things that are going to happen and how things are going to play forward. You just got to be willing to stick along for the ride. Again, we're so used in MCU movies to have this little bit in the beginning, then get right to it. You know what I'm saying? And then everything plays itself out. But this is it's a slow burn, if you will, because again, these are MCU movies that are a little bit longer. And now knowing that every episode is like 30 minutes, it's a typical MCU movie on a grand scale. So if every episode is 30 minutes, we get 9 episodes. It's about it's 3, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4.5 hour movie. It's a 4.5 hour movie what WandaVision is. Again, there are no, breaks. Also, there are commercials in this you got to pay attention to. So they do commercials in the show. The first commercial is about a toaster oven made by It's Smart Computing, a toaster oven made by Stark Industries. What is a smart computer made by Stark Industries? Vision. Episode 2, a watch from Strucker Industry that has Hydra on it. Where does Strucker play a role? Remember, Baron von Strucker used the power of the Tesseract to give both Wanda Maximoff and our brother Pietro Maximoff their abilities. So these little jewels and everything you see and everything fits in, and this bigger pieces to the puzzle, it all, you got to pay attention to these small things. Because as of right now, that's what you're going to get to lead to that bigger picture. We're so used to certain things already. And also, by the way, let me just get to it. Am I not the only one who we saw the opening Marvel credit crawl with the with the comic books and everything and just was like, oh, thank God it's been a long year without this. I know I felt like that. I felt like that because, again, we were so used for the past almost 10 years of always getting a Marvel film and Marvel Studios film, and now we haven't had one, and now we have Marvel Studios back. So, yeah. Overall, I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see where this goes, and I want to know what you think about it. Now, again, some people may not like the slow burn. Some people may want to get right into it. But some people may be interested to see how they build this up. And that's what I want to know from you in those comments below. All right, so go ahead and like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. Let me know. Are you rocking with WandaVision even though you're 2 episodes in? Or have you just checked out automatically? Sometimes you might have, but let me know why below, all right? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Check out the Man Titan podcast everywhere you get your podcasts from. I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live-action cinematic universes. It is Barbershop Talk for Nerds. I'll be dropping a new episode shortly, as well as Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday live, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Myself and Winston A. Marshall. We cover news, sports, entertainment, pop culture, politics, all of it from an unapologetically black point of view. And you definitely want to be a part of that, all right? YouTube.com/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Holla at y'all next week for the next episode of WandaVision. I'm back with these reviews, baby. Take care. I'm out. Bye.